Hi Ramya, in the previous class we discussed about SDLC, right? So software development life cycle, and we have different models: waterfall, V model, spiral, iterative, and agile, and Big Bang models. We'll start with waterfall model. What exactly a waterfall model is, and where we use that, and what are the advantages and what is the disadvantages, and we'll compare every step of waterfall model in this session. Later on we'll go with other models in the coming sessions. So waterfall model is like its basic software development lifecycle model. It's very simple, and as of now we are not using that because we are into different models, right? So we are not using that, but it's a classic model. We need to learn what exactly waterfall model is. And when we're using waterfall model, the project should be like it's very complex, large, and it should be a informatical. Uh, I mean, it should be very informatic project. And the features of waterfall model is it it should be a quality control and it's sequentially approached and document driven quality control and planning should be there. What exactly sequential approach? Sequential approach means the every phase of the software development life cycle should be completed before moving to the other one. If you don't complete the starting of the phases, we cannot go to the next phase. That's the feature of the waterfall model. Coming to document driven, we need to ensure everything is documented and we need to set the goal very clearly on the project basis. Coming to quality control, when you are in a testing phase, we need to understand what exactly the requirement and the expectation of the stakeholder has met or not. If you're not met, we need to ensure it should be met for as a quality controller. Planning, when we comes up to planning, we need to know what is the timeline, what is the deliverables, and we need to know what is the monitored throughout the project life cycle. These are the phases which we have. Coming to feasible study, requirement analysis and specification, design, coding, integration, maintenance. In the integration and system testing only, we'll do this testing. We'll see what exactly feasible study everything. The main goal of this phase is to determine what exactly the financial feasibility and technical feasibility to develop the software. We need to understand how much time it will take and what is the money, what is the financials we need to get. Everything we need to understand in this phase. The feasibility study involves understanding the problem and then determining the various possibility strategy to solve the problem. We need to understand what risk we are growing up with this product. So we need to understand about that, and we need to check what is the benefits and what is the drawbacks of this when we are taking up the project. Everything we need to understand in the feasibility study. Requirement gathering. In the requirement gathering, we need to understand what exactly the requirements of the customer and we need to document it very properly so that it doesn't affect in next level of phases. In the requirement gathering and analysis, we need to understand uh, the requirements which we get from the uh, customers, and the we need to check the inconsistency and we need to remove all our incompleteness requirement from the customer. And requirement specification, It's simple. We have some documents to be written. We call it as SRS document. We'll be writing the document. Here in this model, BA, business analyst, is responsible to write the document. Any future disputes between the customer and the development will be examined in the SRS document. If you're not found the requirement in the document, we'll not do that type of requirement in this waterfall model. Designing, coding, and unit testing. As I said, unit testing is done by the developers. The goal is to convert the requirement into SRS document, and from the SRS document we'll convert into a formatable coding programming language. We have a lot of programming language which it might be a C sharp, it might be a Java, it might be a Python, it might be anything. But we'll be converting based on the requirement specification document, SRS document, and we'll design the um, we'll design the SRS document into a high level uh, use cases. In the coding phase, we'll set into suitable language from source code to any programming language. And when you come to the testing, the every individual developer will test the module which he's developed to aim that the module is working fine or not. In the integration and system phase, as I said in the last previous classes, integration is like combination of all the unit testing and will be deployed in one environment, so that we'll be testing it. As a tester, we'll be testing all the modules parallelly. Sometimes it might be a partially also, but we'll be testing in the integration testing. And here we have another concept called system testing. We we, de- uh, we divide our system testing into three categories. One is alpha, beta, acceptance testing. Basically, beta testing means um, we can call it as a demo version of the software once we get the release, right? So we'll share to the friendly set of customers so that they will test and they'll say these are the issues which we have, or they'll say the positive and negative feedbacks of the product. Alpha testing, basically it will be done by the developers to ensure everything is systematically set in the product. Acceptance testing, it might be done by the set of testers from the client, or directly the customer will test the application and he'll say I'm okay with the application, and he'll say he'll accept the application directly. Coming to the maintenance, it's a very important phase which we have in the software development life cycle. Basically, we have three types of maintenance. One is corrective maintenance, perfective maintenance, and adaptive maintenance. Corrective maintenance means, as I said, like we cannot give 100% of product to the customers, right? 100% errorless. Some will be discovered, and we due to some timelines we cannot give that fix to that customer. So that what we'll do, we'll take some time and we'll say this is our maintenance for 6 months. So the errors which we discovered and we not found in the development phase, we'll be correcting that, and we'll be sharing the bugless product to the customers. And coming to perfective maintenance, the customers will ask for the CRs, will say customers request, and he'll say to enhance the functionalities, we'll take the charge and we'll enhance based on the customer's request. Adaptive maintenance means it usually requires for porting the softwares to work in a new environment. It might be a new software, uh, browsers, or a platform, or a operating system. For example, I have developed a product in Windows application. Now I'm using XP version, example. So I want to check whether it's working fine or not. This type of maintenance we called as adaptive maintenance. What exactly waterfall model advantages? It's very easy to understand, and it is very simple. And coming to individual processing phases in the classic waterfall are processed one at a time. We cannot skip the phases. We need to go slowly and one by one, properly defined. Each stage should be clearly defined. Clear milestone. Once the phase is clearly defined, only we'll go to the next step. So that what here we'll call it as clear milestone, properly documented. As I said, here we need to document everything from the actions to the results. Will be everything will be documented. Where we'll be using waterfall model majorly we'll be using in a large scale development products, and we'll be using with a stable requirement. For example, I have one requirement which is stable, and I won't change that requirement forever. So at that time, waterfall model is the best phase model to work on. The disadvantage of waterfall model, we cannot uh, I mean we cannot discover more defects in the waterfall model, and we don't have much uh, involvement in the stakeholders, because we won't show any progress in any phases. We'll show after um, all the product is done, we'll show in the testing phase, so that the limited stakeholder involvement will be there, and we have only some amount of time, and we cannot go back to the previous phase. So these are the disadvantages which we have in waterfall model.